Usually when we talk about high stakes, we're talking about corporate espionage or geopolitical moves.
Right.
But today, the stakes are painfully domestic. We're looking at a story that sits right at this terrifying intersection of marriage, money, and just absolute malice.
It really is a thriller, isn't
It
it? But
is.
it's not a movie, it's a case study. And it comes from a first-person account called The Price of a Hidden Jackpot.
Hmm.
And what struck me wasn't just the amount of money involved, which is, I mean, it's huge.
Totally.
It was the specific legal machinery that turns this whole thing from just a sad divorce story into a landmark lesson in justice.
Exactly. We're going to unpack how a husband tries to pull off this, ultimate financial heist against his own wife,
Right.
only to have the entire plan just blow up in his face because of one single legal concept, and, honestly, because of pure dumb luck.
And a very clumsy mailman. We cannot forget the mailman.
We absolutely cannot. But before we get to that moment, we have to set the scene. We have to understand the baseline. Because on paper, this marriage looked like millions of others that fall apart.
On the surface, yes. We have the narrator. He's 28, married to Mark, who's 30. They've been together for 5 years. And the picture she paints is, well, it's bleak, but it's common. It's the story of the working poor.
It's grinding poverty. I mean, they're not destitute, but they are drowning, living paycheck to paycheck, cutting coupons.
Stressing over utility bills.
The source mentions that specific detail, arguments over the electric bill. I think anyone who's been in that position knows exactly what that tension feels like.
Oh, yeah. Which creates this very specific psychological environment. When you're in that scarcity mindset, your world just shrinks. You're focused on survival. And Mark, the husband, he seems to have weaponized this. He wasn't just struggling with her. He was directing the blame at her.
That's where it gets so dark. It wasn't just we have no money. It was we have no money and it's your fault.
Oh.
The source says he was constantly berating her for what he called luxury spending. And we aren't talking about designer bags here.
No, we're talking about a latte. Or brand name shampoo versus the generic kind.
That shampoo detail, it really stuck with me. It's such a petty thing to control. Why did you buy the $8 bottle instead of the $3 one?
But that pettiness, it serves a strategic purpose. In relationship psychology, this is often a precursor to, financial abuse.
Right.
By focusing on her tiny purchases, he's shifting the entire burden of their poverty onto her. He's conditioning her to feel guilty.
Right. So if they're broke, it's not because of low wages or high rent. It's because she bought the good shampoo.
Exactly. Which is why she reacted the way she did when he finally dropped the bomb.
So about 3 months ago, Mark sits her down. He looks completely destroyed. He tells her, I can't do this anymore. The stress is killing the love.
Classic projection. But look at the strategy there. He frames the divorce not as a choice he wants to make, but as a tragedy that's been forced on them.
He's the victim.
He's the victim of circumstance.
And then comes the pitch. He says, and I'm quoting the source here, let's not get lawyers involved. They'll just take what little money we have.
That sentence right there, that is the siren song of the fraudster. Let's keep it between us.
But it sounds so reasonable. I mean, if you only have $4,000 to your name, why would you give $3,000 to an attorney?
It sounds reasonable to a logical person who is operating in good faith. But in a divorce, fast and cheap is almost always a trap. He's using their shared poverty to dismantle her defenses. He knows she feels guilty, so he uses that guilt to get a clean break.
He wants speed.
Speed is the enemy of due diligence.
And she bought it. She really believed she was the anchor dragging him down. So she agrees. They split their savings, $4,000 total. He takes $2,000, she takes $2,000. He moves out,
Leaving her to pick up extra shifts at a diner just to pay the rent on their old apartment. She's mourning, she's blaming herself, and she's exhausting herself just to survive.
She thinks she's lost everything.
Well,
It's just gone.
Or so she thinks.
This is where the universe, or more accurately, the United States Postal Service, intervenes.
Never underestimate the power of a misdelivered letter.
Last week, a letter shows up at the apartment. It's from Mark. It has a big, bold, do not forward stamp on the front. Now let's pause there. Why put that stamp on something?
That's standard for sensitive financial documents. Banks, investment firms, they use do not forward because they don't want your bank statement bouncing around the mail system if you've moved.
It's a security feature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's designed to prevent fraud. The irony here is that, in this case, it exposed it.
So the mailman just ignores the stamp, drops it in the old mailbox because he knows Mark lived there.
He's doing a favor.
Right. Now, there is a legal gray area here about opening someone else's mail.
Technically, yeah. But they're still legally married. It's the marital home. And honestly, she says her curiosity just got the best of her. She opens it.
And inside is a statement from a wealth management firm she has never heard of.
For an account she did not know existed.
She looks at the date. The account was opened in November, 2 months before he even asked for the divorce. Then she looks at the balance.
$5,200,000.
I can't even imagine that moment. You're holding a disconnect notice in one hand and a statement for $5.2 million in the other. Your brain must just like short circuit.
It completely recontextualizes your reality.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like finding out you thought you were in a tragedy, but you were actually in a heist film.
She goes into detective mode. And Mark, for all his planning, he got arrogant. She digs through an old shoebox he left behind. Inside, a receipt for a lottery ticket.
Dated November.
November, so now we can put together Mark's timeline, and this is where it just gets infuriating.
This timeline is so crucial for what happens later in court. Mark hits the jackpot in November. Now, most people, they win $5 million, they run home screaming, "We're rich!"
Right, you pay off your debts, you quit the job you hate.
Mark did none of that. He went silent. He waited 3 weeks. And the source implies he used this time to secure the winnings.
Yeah.
And this is the key. He hires a lawyer.
A secret lawyer.
A secret lawyer who likely advised him, look, if you divorce her now, she gets half. But if you can get her to sign away her rights before she knows, maybe you keep it all.
That is the malice part, isn't it? It's not just greed, it's that he watched her suffer. He let her cry over $50 bills while he was secretly a multimillionaire.
That's what moves this from just financial infidelity to what the courts see as fraud on the community. He was manufacturing a false reality to get her to sign a settlement.
It's psychological warfare. So she has the evidence, the bank statement, the lottery receipt. Now, I think most people would probably call him immediately, right? Just screaming.
Which is exactly what Mark would want. If you confront him privately, he has time to spin a story, to move the money.
She didn't do that. She went nuclear. She hired what the source calls the most aggressive divorce attorney in the state.
Smartest move she could have made. She bypassed the emotional fight and went straight for the strategic strike.
So let's go to the courtroom. This just happened yesterday. Mark strolls in, and he's still playing the part.
He's committed to the bit. The source says he's wearing a cheap, ill-fitting suit. He looks like a beaten-down man there to split up $4,000.
He thinks this is just a formality. He thinks he's 10 minutes away from freedom.
He has no idea she knows.
The proceedings start, her lawyer stands up, and I imagine this is the moment lawyers just live for. He presents the evidence, the wealth management statement, the lottery receipt.
And the mask just slips. The source says Mark turned ghost white. He starts stuttering, and then he tries the Hail Mary defense.
The mom defense. I actually laughed when I read this.
It's almost a cliche in these cases. It's not my money, Your Honor. I bought the ticket on behalf of my mother. I'm just holding it for her.
Does that ever actually work?
Not without evidence. You need texts, a prior agreement, a history of buying tickets for her. Mark had nothing. He was just improvising.
And the judge wasn't buying it.
The judge was insulted by it. And this is where we need to really lean in, because the ruling here is based on a specific legal doctrine most people don't know about.
Okay, what is it? Because in a normal divorce, in like a community property state, everything's just split 50-50.
Correct. That's the standard remedy. But there is a massive flaw in that standard. If the only penalty for hiding money is that you have to give up the half you would have lost anyway, what's the deterrent?
Wait, I see what you mean. It's a zero risk bet.
Exactly. Let's say I hide $10 million. If I get away with it, I keep $10 million. If I get caught, I have to give you $5 million, which is what I would have had to do if I were honest from the start.
So you either win big or you break even. The rational choice is always to hide the money.
Unless the law changes the odds. And in some jurisdictions, and this case sounds almost identical to the famous Rossi v. Rossi case,
Yeah.
the law says, no, if we find malice, oppression, or fraud, the remedy isn't 50%.
What is it?
The remedy is 100%.
Wow.
A 100% penalty.
The judge has the discretion to award the entirety of the hidden asset to the victimized spouse.
So it's not about fairness anymore. It's about punishment. It's about deterrence. The court is saying, we need to make the penalty so severe that no one dares to try this. If you get caught, you lose everything. Suddenly, that gamble doesn't look so smart.
And that's what happened here. The judge looked at the timeline, the secret lawyer, the fake poverty, the cheap suit.
And ruled that it was malicious fraud. He awarded her 100% of the lottery winnings.
$5.2 million.
Every single penny.
That's just breathtaking. So Mark walked in thinking he was about to be a single multimillionaire.
And he walked out bankrupt. He left with nothing but his debt and probably a huge bill from his own lawyer.
It's the ultimate backfire. The source says she walked out a millionaire, and he walked out with nothing but that cheat suit on his back.
It's a total reversal of power in the span of, what, 20 minutes?
But there's one last little kicker to the story. He texted her afterwards.
Of course he did.
The text said, "Can we talk? I made a mistake."
I made a mistake. Not, I tried to ruin your life, just, oops.
How do you even respond to that?
Well, the old version of her would have asked why. But she's not that person anymore.
She sent a screenshot.
Of the bank balance.
A screenshot of her new bank balance, $5.2 million. And then she blocked him.
That is the definition of a mic drop.
It really is.
Yeah.
But stepping back from the satisfaction of it all, what's the real lesson here? Because most people aren't winning the lottery.
No, but financial infidelity happens every single day, and the lesson is about what's called fiduciary duty in a marriage.
Define that for us.
When you get married legally, your partnership, you owe that partner a duty to act in their best financial interest. You can't undercut them to benefit yourself.
Yeah.
Mark treated their marriage like a zero-sum game.
For him to win, she had to lose.
And that's what destroyed him. If he had just been honest in November and said, I won the lottery, but I also want a divorce, he would have walked away with $2.6 million.
He'd still be rich. That's the crazy part.
He'd be set for life. But he couldn't stand the idea of her getting her share. He wanted 100%. And because he tried to steal the half that wasn't his, he lost the half that was.
Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered.
It's an old saying for a reason.
Yeah.
But I also think there's a lesson here about the wife's transformation.
How so?
She went from total submission, letting him define her as a spender because of a coffee, to a place of total empowerment. And notice, she didn't get empowered because of the money. She got empowered when she found the truth.
That's a great distinction. The money is the outcome, but the victory was in the investigation.
The victory was in refusing to be gaslit anymore.
It does make you wonder, though. We're celebrating this outcome, but it all hangs on such a thin thread.
A mailman.
The mailman. If that letter doesn't get misdelivered, or if she respects that do not forward stamp.
Mark wins. That's the terrifying part. His plan was actually solid. It almost worked. If she doesn't see that letter, the divorce goes through, he waits 6 months, and it would have been so hard to prove otherwise.
He'd be on a beach somewhere, and she'd still be serving coffee at the diner, thinking she was the reason her marriage failed.
It's a chilling reminder that transparency is the only real safety net. If your partner is pushing for a quick, clean, no lawyers divorce,
Run.
don't run, dig. Quick and clean usually means I'm hiding something.
That is excellent advice. If they don't want you to look, that is exactly when you have to look.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we can all sleep a little better knowing that at least one Mark out there got exactly what he deserved. A wild story.
Very valuable. And a very expensive lesson for anyone thinking about hiding assets.
Indeed. So here's the thought we want to leave you with today. We often talk about smart planning. Mark thought he was a smart planner. But there's a line where strategy becomes fraud. In your own life, business, relationships, are you operating with transparency? Because, as we saw today, you never know when a simple clerical error will blow the whole thing wide open.
Makes you want to go check the mailbox, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a pleasure unpacking this with you.
Always a pleasure.
Catch you on the next one. Stay curious.